All right, you don't vote with your feet, you vote with your hands. Our very first teller is a good buddy of mine, and she and I share a few things in common. One of them is we abide by this: maturity is way overrated. Donna Catton-Johnson and I are both in our 70s, but we have the mindset of a 12-year-old or younger. And that's what keeps Donna Catton-Johnson so interesting. She's been in theater. She's been a director. She taught art. She's a multi-talented, multi-wonderful person. Ladies and gentlemen, Donna Catton-Johnson.
Thank you, Chuck. Hi. I'll move this. Be careful what you wish for. Now, I'm sure many of you can think of a time when that was true for you. And in my case, what you pray for. I went back to college 9 years after I earned my interdisciplinary BA in theater and visual art. And I went so that I could become a teacher. Now, I had graduated from Coastal Carolina College. It was not university back then. And I had gotten a interdisciplinary BA because they didn't have a full theater major then, and that's what I was going for. So art was my other discipline. I did costumes and such. And when I went back, I was going back because I wanted to be a drama teacher at a high school or a middle school. And that's because when I went to high school, we didn't even have drama instruction. And I wanted to be the person who would help some young person who was good at those things find out before they were 28 years old. So I went back, I got out of my program, and I needed to get a job right away. If you don't get a job within 6 months of stopping school and you have loans, guess what? You have to start paying them back anyway. So it was important to get a job. And I immediately started looking for interviews. Unfortunately, the only drama teaching jobs in that whole area, which was the Grand Strand area of Myrtle Beach and Conway, I'm sure some of you have been there, and the only drama jobs there were already taken by people who would probably never leave. And so I looked for art jobs, art teaching jobs. And I went to one interview at a high school and didn't hear anything from them. And I went to a second one at Conway High School. I lived in Conway. It was 10 minutes away from my house, so it sounded like a good idea. But they wanted a photography teacher, and that's before digital. That was when you had to know about dark rooms and chemicals and that whole process. And I really didn't. I was honest with them in the interview. I said, well, I have been in dark rooms with friends before, and I've helped with the process, but I'm not completely up on it. However, I feel I'm able to learn some things and then teach it to the children or students, teenagers. And so they said, well, we'll see. I thought the only thing to do is be honest. So I didn't hear from them, but the next day, I get a call from this principal at this little elementary school way out in the boonies, a place called Green Sea. It was a farming community, rural. And she said, I hear that you're looking for an art teaching job. Well, yes, ma'am. And we were wondering if you wanted to come out here and interview with us. The real answer was no. I didn't want to teach elementary and art. Yeah, I love art. It's okay, but no. And it was 30 minutes from my house, away from everything else in my life. But it was the middle of teacher work week, and you only get a week to get ready unless you go in before you're paid. And I thought about it, and I thought, well, I don't have anything being offered to me. I better go interview. So I said, yes, ma'am, I'll come out there. I was interviewed by this panel of people. It was the principal, the assistant principal, the music teacher, the PE teacher, and several of the grade level teachers. And every answer I gave them to a question, they went, oh. And I left there thinking, they're going to offer me that job. And I was driving along going, oh man, elementary, way out here in the boonies. Oh my gosh, it's an hour away from my folks, and I used to go see my folks every week. And finally I just said, I hadn't heard from the high schools that I had interviewed. Okay, Lord, just send me where I'll do the best for the students. Got home, 45 minutes later, I get the call. Well, Miss Donna, do you want the job or not? Miss Huggins, my husband's not home from work yet, and I really want to talk it over with him. So could I call you after a little while? Well, all right, but it's the last couple of days of the teacher work week, and you know, Mr. Lewis over at Conway High School, he told me you'd be a good fit for us. Do you think I was going to get that job? So I said, well, let me talk to my husband. And we talked, and I got back. She called me back again. She was like, I need to know. And I said, okay. Yes, I'll come. I wasn't happy about it. I took the job because I feared I wouldn't get anything else. Don't take things like that out of fear. Don't do it. Anyway, I go out Thursday of teacher work week, and I got 2 days to get ready, and I work real hard in the classroom. I get home, and I get a call from Mr. Lewis at Conway High School. Would you like to have this job? Oh, sir, I accepted the job at Green C. Floyd's. You called her. Yeah, I know, but we thought you could probably do the job. Well, he says, well, why don't you talk to her? I said, I'd rather do the job at your school, but well, why don't you talk to her? And since he thought that was appropriate, I thought, well, maybe it'd be all right. So the next day, Friday of teacher work week, I go up to her and I explain what happened. And I said, I really kind of would rather work at the high school. I like that level, and it's closer to my home. Well, that wouldn't be very professional, would it? And I didn't want to seem unprofessional, so I took the job. And I love kids, don't get me wrong. I love kids, I love art, and I never once, ever shortchange those children. I'm going to give them the best lesson I can. Absolutely. But the principal and the assistant principal didn't get along. I don't know how two people who are not a team can head a team. And there were problems at that school. It's okay. I dealt with it. I taught. Year 3, I see an opening for a drama teacher on the books, on the computer. And I call, oh boy, it's at Myrtle Beach High School. I'm like, yeah. Didn't even get granted an interview. And when I talked to the woman at the district office about it, she said, oh yeah. She says, high school principals usually won't look at an elementary teacher because they figure you can't handle the teenagers. I said, I've been teaching teenagers in summer arts programs. Well, I know. Year 6, there's an opening at Sockasty High School. That's the high school I went to. Hey, they finally have a drama department. And a drama teacher, and I went, oh, good, and I got an interview. And I went, and the interview went just beautifully. And 2 days later, the assistant principal I had talked to, she was wonderful, called me up. Donna, this is Angela, yes. There were 2 people we wanted we liked for this job that we really were interested in having. And it was you and Liz Layton. Now, I knew Liz Layton. I'd worked with her in the summer arts program. And she said, and unfortunately, Liz is being riffed. Now, if you don't know what that is, R-I-F, some of you might, it means that the person is doing fine in the job they've got, but the job itself is being phased out. So that person's going to have priority over somebody who just wants to transfer from a job they have that's still going on. So Liz Layton got the job. Every year, I would look at the end of the school year. They would post what was coming up that might be open, and every year I'd look. And for a couple of years there was really hardly anything except for another elementary school out in the boonies somewhere. No. And year number 9, I went online to look. 9th year at this school. Oh, and I meant to tell you, there was one day when our guidance counselor, who also lived in Conway, was giving me a ride to school because my car was in the shop. He's a wonderful guy, Dr. Chinaka. And I was telling him, I'm so tired of, looking for a job that I want, that I really want, instead of the job that I have. It's just so discouraging. And he said, but CJ, and that was my teacher nickname, CJ, you're such a blessing to these children. Watch, be careful what you wish for. So, 9th year, I'm looking, there's nothing, not even one out in the boonies at another place. So, something snapped, y'all. I stood up in the middle of that classroom, stomped my foot, and said, okay, fine. This is where you want me. I hate it, and you know that. So this is where you want me to stay? Okay, I will do what you want me to do, but just don't you expect me to be happy about it. What a nice way to talk to the creator of the universe. A month later, a young man named Robert Moore calls me. Now, he and I had gone to classes at Coastal for art together. He was a fabulous artist, but he had been taking courses so that he could become an art teacher. And we had to take education courses too and all of that. Donna, would you like to trade places with me? Where do you teach, Robert? I hadn't even seen him in a long time. Socastee Elementary. Well, it's elementary, but Socastee. That's 5 minutes from my folks' house, number 1. Number 2, it's in towards civilization. Number 3, it's my old high school area where I used to live. Okay, yeah, Robert, I might be interested, but I have to talk to my principal first. Oh, he says, don't worry about that. He says, I just wanted to know if you'd be willing to switch. And I said, yeah, I think I would. I didn't talk to Shirley right away. I didn't really want to. And 2 days later, she comes up to me. She says, so do you want us to switch places with Robert Moore over at Socastee Elementary? I said, well, it is closer to my home and my folks. And yeah, I might like to do that. Well, all right. Well, we might interview him and see how that goes. Thank you. Okay. Oh, and by the way, she said, Bert Owen, and that was the district's fine arts coordinator. He helped all of the fine arts teachers in the whole district. And she says, Bert Owen says that he thinks it'd be a better fit for both of y'all. I didn't talk to Bert Owen either. 2 days after that, the principal from Socastee Elementary calls me. We want to set up an interview for you, for you and Robert to switch. I didn't talk to her either. I'm like flabbergasted. So I go to the interview. Yes, they like me. We get to switch. I didn't even lift a finger. On top of all of that, they told me I had to go to a new hire orientation. I said, new hire? I've been teaching for this district for 9 years. They said, yeah, but it's a new school, you have to go. Oh, a whole day when I should be getting ready. Robert says to me, don't worry about it. I've got a trailer. We can get it worked out and move all our stuff. I said, okay, I'll meet you at Socastee after that program. I get to Socastee. Robert has, now I had packed up a few things in boxes. Robert has every single thing from my classroom out there on the back of his trailer, and he's loading boxes from his trailer into my room. I mean, all I did was pick up a few boxes. Other than that, I didn't lift a finger to get this job. And I worked at Socastee until I retired, 16 years. So 25 altogether. I fit the kids better. It was just a better fit, it really was, and for him as well. So my advice is, be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. And if you want something really, really, really badly, and everything you have tried to do to get it has not worked, try giving up and let the universe work it out for you.
Do you need this?
No.
Great stuff. Excellent.
Donna Catton-Johnson, everybody.